Welcome to this video. My name is Marco Alexander and I'm a German engineer and the author of the book Hemorrhoids, Pain and Symptom Free in Just 4 Weeks. For almost 25 years I had severe problems with hemorrhoids of the grade 4, with pain and symptoms. In 2010 I even had them surgically removed, but only after 2 years they came back like they had never been gone before. It all really began when I started after high school an apprenticeship in the construction industry, and I had to wear daily work clothes and safety boots, and then the pain and symptoms started on a daily basis. When I had to do my mandatory military service, sometimes on long marches, the blood just ran down my legs. After that, I worked many years in the construction industry and had daily problems and symptoms. Only during my time in college, the symptoms were not that bad. I also had constant pain during my favorite hobby, dancing, and, of course, on the toilet. If you are affected, then you know very well all these problems or similar ones. This video will not be about the symptoms, the pain and problems. This video will focus on root cause of hemorrhoids, because unfortunately they are very little known to the public. In 2016 I discovered this root cause of hemorrhoids and was able to become mostly symptom-free and pain-free in just a short time, just with a little change in my lifestyle. Since then, I have studied a lot, and in 2021 I have written and published a book about this topic and translated it into more than 20 languages to help as many people around the world as possible. In the following minutes, I will explain this root cause to you and show you what you can do to also minimize your pain and symptoms in short time. To do this, you need also to make a small change in your lifestyle, which is not difficult to do, but it will bring you back to evolution and your biologically roots. So please stay tuned.
For hemorrhoids, there is a primary cause and a secondary cause. The secondary cause is a weaker connective tissue, a weaker fascia. The primary cause is the heel gait. Shoes with artificial heel elevation can further increase the symptoms. Humans spent hundreds of thousands of years as hunter-gatherers throughout evolution. They wandered through the savanna or the primal forests and always did that on uneven, stony ground, and they always did it in the ball gait. Human evolution and the body is biologically made to walk through the forefoot. Shoes that allow the heel gait without pain have only been around for a few thousand years. That's not enough time for evolution and for the body to adapt. The good news is that switching back to the ball gait can compensate the negative symptoms that the heel gait is provoking. And also, it's strengthening the fascia, the secondary cause.
Here you can see a model of the foot without fascia. 26 of the 206 bones of the whole body are in each foot. So 25% of all bones are located within our feet. Similar to our hands, which have 27 bones, the feet are also a masterpiece of nature. The best engineers and technicians on this planet could have not developed them better. In the media, you often hear that the foot should roll when walking. But for rolling, it should be convexly shaped. But the foot is concave, and something concave cannot roll. Here's another picture of the concave foot. 99.9% of population currently place and roll their foot when walking in the heel gait. The full body weight is rammed into the ground, each every step unprotected like a hammer. With 220 million steps that a person takes in a lifetime, on average, this is quite a strain on the body. Here I would like to show you the two ways of walking once in this video. First, the heel gait in shoes, and second, the ball gait in shoes. And then again, both ways of walking barefoot. Please do the test yourself and cover your ears and then walk in heels with shoes or barefoot on hard surface. You can hear the bang sound well when the heel is rammed into the ground with full body weight, with or without shoes. With the ball gait, on the other hand, the weight of the person is gently cushioned by the bones and the fascia when the foot is placed on the ground. The kinetic energy is absorbed when the foot touches down and released again when the foot leaves the ground. This makes walking nice and smooth. Walking on the forefoot proceeds as shown in the picture. You first touch down on the outside of the forefoot. Then the foot intelligence analyzes the ground in milliseconds, and if all is well, the whole forefoot lands, including the toes. Finally, the heel is lowered until it rests completely on the ground. It all happens simple, fast, and natural. When walking on heels, it is noticeable that the step width is artificially extended, also due to the heel elevation. This has a negative effect on the connective tissue on the pelvic floor. With the ball gait, the steps are shorter and more supple. The pelvic floor is relieved. Here again, the comparison additionally simulated with the models. With 220 million steps in a human lifetime at an average human weight of 7 kilograms, that is 10 million tons, which is equivalent to the weight of both the Egyptian pyramids. This stress caused by the heel gait simply must have negative effects in the long term. The ball gait, on the other hand, can have a number of positive effects to the human body. It can improve problems with the hips, the bones and joints. It can improve back pain, the vision, and many others. For men, also the sexual potency, and for women, pregnancies.
You can once imagine how a pregnant woman and her unborn child in the womb must feel like. With each step of the mother in the heel gait, the body and the head of the child is pushed down into the pelvic floor, and it has to cramp up to make up for it. After the 5th month of the pregnancy, when the hearing of the child is also developed, the child not only feels these stress, it also hears the boom, boom noise with every step that the mother takes in heel gait. On the other hand, by walking through the forefoot, both the weight of the child and the weight of the mother are elastically cushioned with every step that the mother would take in ball gait, and this would make a pregnancy much easier and simpler.
In the last few minutes, I've explained to you while the heel gait can be the cause of hemorrhoids and other problems on the pelvic floor. So the solution to all these problems is to switch to the evolutionary ball gait, or walking through the forefoot. You can easily make this change and also reduce your pain and symptoms to a minimum in just a few weeks, just like I did. The change is natural and it's free, and it leads you back to your evolutionary roots. So I challenge you to make this change in your movement apparatus.
Now I'm going to show you how to do the ball gait, which means walking through the forefoot. You stand upright with your head lifted and your chest out, and both your feet stand parallel to each other. Your feet are positioned as if your heel and your big toe are on an imaginary line pointing 90 degrees forward. Your feet are set parallel to each other like this, but the distance between your feet is different for everyone and depends on your stature and your posture. The distance will automatically settle later when walking through the forefoot. To walk, the upper body now slowly moves forward. To maintain balance, one foot now lifts the heel, then also the ball of the foot, and then sets it down again a little further forward. Just before the foot touches the ground, the rear foot now also lifts the heel. The step width should be comfortable. The front foot now touches down on the outer ball of the foot. Afterwards, with the entire forefoot, including the toes, as explained earlier in the picture. The rear foot now forms an angle, with the ball of the foot and the toes still touching the ground. At this moment, the body axis from the head is between the 2 feet resting on the ball of the foot. In further movement, the heel of the front foot lowers until the whole weight rests on the ground. Then the body axis up to the head is exactly above this foot. At the same moment, the back foot still touches the ground with the toes. This further gives stability to the walking movement. Only when the weight is shifted further forward does the rear foot leave the ground completely, is guided forward, and the movement begins again. The movement is completed by swinging the arms in opposite directions. The right arm swings with the left foot and the left arm with the right foot.
Fine-tuning the gait is important. To do this, you need to close your ears again and again and listen to the walking noise. If the boom noise is still clearly audible in the ball gait, then you do not place the foot from high enough and the heel is still partially rammed into the ground because the ball, the bones and the fascia and the muscles do not have enough time to sufficiently absorb the kinetic energy. Only when the walking nose is coherent and the boom can hardly be heard anymore, then the ball gait is correctly set. Here are the 2 types of touchdown in the example. First, the ball, which acts like a spring, does not have enough time to absorb the energy, while in the second, the kinetic energy can be absorbed sufficiently. This strengthens the muscles and trains and promotes overall success.
Don't worry if you're not doing it exactly the way I have shown it to you. Every body is a little different. Just stick to the principle, and after a few thousand steps, the body will automatically fall into the way evolution wanted it to walk.
For the transition into the ball gait, it is best to walk barefoot whenever possible or in socks. If you want to wear or you must wear shoes, then I recommend to you special barefoot shoes. They have been around and are available worldwide, and they are not as costly as they have been before. They are flat, without heel elevation, with thin and hard soles who give the forefoot enough room and are quite flexible to use. I myself have been wearing the same 2 pairs of barefoot shoes since 2016, for the summer and for the winter. I have never in my life had more comfortable shoes, and I will wear them until they fall into pieces. For the summer shoes I also wear for dancing, and they fit just great. If you don't want to buy barefoot shoes just yet, I recommend to you flat shoes, also with a thin sole, who are more or less flexible, give the forefoot some room and without heel elevation.
Now I would like to show you again this walking movement, but in barefoot shoes.
There are some side effects to the switch to the ball gait that I don't want to keep from you. In people who have walked all their life in heel gait with heel shoes, the connective tissue or the fascia is aligned to this way of walking. A consistent return to the ball gait will need the fascia chain to realign itself, and this can cause minor effects. One side effect is foot pain every morning when you get up and you consciously start walking through the forefoot again. This slight pain can last 30 to 60 minutes. You can reduce it by walking on the spot for a few minutes right after you're getting up. Other side effects can include tension throughout your body and different parts of your body, which also result from the realignment of the fascia chain. Everything in your body is connected with fascia, and a change in your foundation will also be noticeable elsewhere. Stretching and tucking exercises, as well as other gymnastica, can counteract these tensions. If the ball walk is maintained and continued consistently, then these side effects will also disappear once the fascia chain is finished with the realignment process. The duration is different from person to person. I myself only had the morning foot pain for about 4 weeks. Another side effect is that walking with barefoot shoes is a different noise. It will sound completely different to you, but it will not be noticed by outsiders. In all these years, no one has ever asked me about it, whether at work, in my hobbies, or on the street.
When I switched to forefoot walking quite consistently and consequently in 2016, my hemorrhoids disappeared within a few days and weeks. Since then, I walk every day consciously again in the ball walk, and it feels to me so absolutely natural. An accidentally heel strike now feels to me totally unnaturally and is immediately corrected. Since then, my hemorrhoids have not returned again, which really improved my quality of life.
However, there are still a number of accessories necessary and some aspects to consider for a successful change to forefoot walking, and many tips and tricks on how to significantly increase the effort and success and minimize the time needed for the change. For that, I recommend my book, Hemorrhoids, Pain and Symptom Free in just 4 weeks. It contains a 4-week program with which the change can be mastered very well. This book can be purchased normally from Amazon or regular bookstores in print or ebook. You can also find information on my authors page, which I've linked below in the video description. The authors page also links to my own bookstore, where you can get the ebook in PDF format in almost 20 different languages.
The change to ball gait is free and natural, but it will cost you the necessary effort to make the change in your lifestyle. It has to be done as consequently as possible, because only then the fascia chain can realign itself fundamentally.
Maybe you still have doubts after this video, because hey, all the world walks in heel gait. These doubts are justified. The heel gait is a very dominant and powerful gait. Here's an example from history. The North American Indians and the Australian Aborigines, who both walked in ball gait, either with minimal shoes or barefoot, were almost completely wiped out by soldiers, cowboys, and white settlers wearing boots with heel elevation, walking the heel gait. The heel gait is also more economically because of the wider step width that can be bridged with every step, especially the higher the heel elevation is. The negative symptoms of this step width caused by the body's impact are now clear. There are a lot of videos and pages on the internet that support the heel gait walking because it protects the small bones and the weak body parts in our feet. If they needed protection, evolution would have taken care of that, or wouldn't it? By the same logic, we should all wear constantly tight gloves to protect the bones and weaker body parts in our hand during our daily use.
So I'm going to ask you one last time so that you are going to change into the ball gait consistently and consequently. It's natural and it's free. No monthly fees, no creams, no pain, nothing. Let yourself be convinced of the positive effect. You got nothing to lose. Change now, but do it consequently, everywhere, at home, in the office, or in leisure time. I guarantee you that the positive effects will not wait very long. I receive everyday messages from people all over the world thanking me that with my book and with the consequent change into the ball gait, they were able to overcome their year or decade-year long problems.
Thank you for watching my video. If you liked it, I appreciate a thumb up, and if you want, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I will regularly post videos about this topic and other topics of my books. Thank you for your interest and all the best for you. Many greetings, yours, Marco Alexander.